very slow manoeuvre by Great Britain. He's got to give room for Spithill here. There's going to be a protest. Wow, Spithill has to avoid a collision. Burling coming through. If he can stay on the foils, this could be a third from nowhere.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 moments that happened at Bermuda Sail GP. For this list, we are taking a look at the most mesmerizing moments on race day and during the practice leading up to the event. The Bermuda Sail Grand Prix was the kickoff event of the Season 3. With 10 more events to come, there is plenty of action coming up. Now on to the top 10. Number 10. During practice race, Peter Burling, the driver of Team New Zealand, made a major mistake and fell off the boat. Thanks to his safety harness, he managed to hold down to the stern of the boat before his teammates brought him back on board. Accident can quickly happen on the F50, even for the best sailors in the world. Number 9. Of course, the first start of the season had to make it up to our top 10.
We're waiting for Canada to turn down towards the start. Watch for the line to turn white, and the Season 3's underway. Great start by the Canadians. Great start by Ainsley. It's a sprint now for Mark 1. It's going to be how fast can we foil to lead at this crucial Mark 1.
With now 9 boats on the starting line, this is nothing less than a spectacle.
Overlaps are absolutely crucial at this stage of proceedings. Australia there looking to open the gap up here. Looks like Canada are going to turn down first, but did the British crew manage to sneak in on the inside? Yes, they did. It's Ainsley who leads at Mark 1, and he's straight into a manoeuvre, heading down towards Gate 2.
That's very interesting.
Number 8. During the practice race on Friday, all teams were racing against each other and making sure all the systems are working properly inside the F50. During the last practice race, the newly added Canadian team was in the lead. At the last gate, somehow a sailor on board the boat accidentally pressed the E-stop button, which stops all electronic system on board, bringing the boat to a stop, leading the team to a near capsize. Now who's to blame, and why did it press it? I guess we'll never know. Number 7. Each sailor sailing on an F50 must pass a rigorous safety test to be able to sail on the boat. One of those tests is to use his onboard oxygen bottle to breathe underwater in case of a capsize. In this clip, the main safety diver decided to put Tom Ramshaw, Canadian grinder, to the test and tackle him in the water and forcing him to use his own oxygen device.
Lead New Zealand away at Gate 3, and Ainsley sneaks inside. He has the right of way.
The Danish team were leading for most of race 4, with making some really good decisions on the race course.
Big lead for these two crews, nearly 100 metres ahead of the third place Spanish.
They managed to keep Peter Burling and the New Zealand team away for most of the race. But the pressure builds up and the Kiwis managed to slightly pull ahead.
Moment in the race there, the Kiwis at the vital moment. Big turn of boat speed there. Look at the angle difference as they start to put turbulent wind onto the Danish boat. It's only going to get harder for Nikolai Sehested from here, but it is close.
Nikolai and his crew were fighting really hard to stay in the lead.
Where that ley line is. Peter Burling doesn't have that, but he seems pretty confident that the ley line's really close. And
the Danish misled where the ley lines was and fell off the foils.
Big mistake by the Danish crew as well. Look, top of screen, they've fallen off the foils. They're going to struggle to make it back up to the gate from here. I don't know what's happened. Opportunity for the Spanish crew at the moment.
Losing them this first position for this race.
What an error by Sehested and his crew.
Number 5. The newly added Canadian SailGP team, with the experienced Phil Robertson at the wheel, managed to impress everyone after their first racing day.
Super happy being fast. That's because he's in the lead and he is trying to use his boat speed, as we see the Canadians in shot there, a push over the top of the rest of the fleet and effectively...
In the second race, they pulled up ahead with a great lead and managed to get a first place.
Kilometers an hour, and Phil Robertson and the Canadians are on their way to picking up their very first win as we look at all the chaos behind them.
It was an exciting moment for all Canadians and a well-deserved number 5 position on this top 10. Number 4. While the Canadians are ahead and crossing the finish line, Action is unfolding at the bottom mark.
Slow manoeuvre by Great Britain. He's got to give room for Spithill here. There's going to be a protest. Wow, Spithill has to avoid a collision. Berlin coming through. If he can stay on the foils, this could be a third from nowhere. Big error.
Umpires, penalty GBR relative USA. Taking room to which they're not entitled.
GBR gets a penalty, and they now have to fall behind Spithill and the USA team, leaving a lot of space for all the other team to pass them one by one.
It brings it across the line. France bounces back from 9th to 2nd in race 2.
Number 3. During the starts of race 4, the French team were coming really fast on the windward side of the line, leaving them without a priority at the start.
Content, the French at the top. The French are trying to barge in. Wow, that was punchy as the line went clear. Penalty on the French boat. They're going to need to drop behind the fleet. But it's the Spanish crew at the bottom of the line who are absolutely charging towards Mark 1, and they should have control of their first decision.
A few moments later, the umpire made the decision to give the French team a black flag.
It's off in race number 4, and it's Spain.
Yeah, this is the umpires. France, you have been black flagged. Taking room to which you're not entitled.
Black flag on the French boat there.
Therefore disqualifying them from race 4. Number 2. During the final race, the British crew fell quickly behind right at the start, leaving Australia and Canada far ahead.
Seconds. Timing looks good from Australia. Perfect start from Australia. The Canadians are going to have to try and hang on the inside. And what has the British crew got up to here? Really late at the start. They've got a job on from here.
Look at the
GBR will now have to work extremely hard to be able to come back from this bad start. Ben Ainsley and his crew decided to jibe early to try to create some opportunities for them to come back.
So what Ainsley's got to think about here is splitting away from the two other boats. I'd expect an early jibe from Ainsley and let Canada and Australia mess around with each other. And there, the British jibe, and they go out to the far-hand side of the course.
At the downwind gate, GBR yet again decide to not follow the Canadian and the Australian team and turns toward the other gate.
All the other boats look set to follow. This is great news for Slingsby and Australia, but again, no, it's Ainsley. He turns away, looks to split. He's hoping to find more wind on the other side of the course, but the Australians are going really fast.
After battling it out, and by avoiding any other mistakes, GBR managed to catch back up to the Canadians.
First is all well and done. Ainsley on board Great Britain needs to be sure to be ahead. It's a tight cross. He doesn't have the right of way, but he's through. Looks to me like Tom Slingsby's going.
And pulled up ahead to finish in second place. Number 1. During the final race, Australia, Canada, and Great Britain, the Australian once again proved why they are the defending champion from Season 2.
Turning away from the wind, Slingsby has to change his rudder setting. These are like Formula 1 drivers. It's tight. Is there an overlap there? Back with the leaders now. Just 700 or 800 metres to go until this final gate. And there's no mistakes coming from this Australian crew so far.
What do we always say about the Australians? They're fast and they stay out of trouble.
Yep.
And that's exactly what they've done here in Bermuda.
In this last leg, the Australian managed to stay 200 meters ahead of the contenders to secure their first victory of Season 3.
last in third. They move up to second place for the valuable points, and Canada has dropped back to third place. But as we come to the finish line, the Bermuda Sail Grand Prix presented by Hamilton Princess goes the way of the two-time defending champions. Australia brings it home. Great Britain will claim second place, and Canada, a great performance, guys. Remember, this is a brand new team, and on the first event, they get themselves into the great final.
Debate, and we really performed well in those.
Do you agree with our pick? What would be your top 10 moments? Tell us in the description. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified by our latest video.